In this quick video, I'm going to explain a superpower that you can gain when it comes to extreme levels of focus. And this applies to motocross racers, whether you're running a business, and most likely if you're watching this, you're an athlete or motocross racer, because that's mostly who I speak to in these videos. But this is going to allow you to focus much better and much longer. So let's jump into it. If you don't know me, I'm Logan Lesser, a national motocross racer, having won over 15 state championships and an amateur national championship. I'm an extreme sports athlete and ran a marketing agency for over 4 years, growing it to $30,000 a month. And while doing so, was able to travel the world living in Cape Town, South Africa, part-time throughout the past few years. And I've spent nearly $50,000 on mentors, coaches, courses, and education, learning from the best of the best in business, fitness, mindset, racing, and so on. Now I'm sharing what I've learned and growing my community, the Champion Protocol, linked in the description below. All right, so most likely you've heard of a little something called meditating. And I say that and you're probably immediately like, oh yeah, I know meditating. And it's not like the most exciting thing in the world, but in this video, I'm gonna explain in very simple terms how to actually meditate and how I do it and the reason why you actually should meditate and the real benefit to it. Because for me, like I've always heard, especially being in the business space for the past like 5 years, every business guru talks about like meditate. And I've done it many times, and I meditated just like very consistently for a while, but I never really understood what the point was. Like I never really understood like, okay, like why am I doing this? Like I don't see the benefit to it, or I'm not seeing the outcome from it or whatever. But more recently, I actually learned what the real purpose is, or at least how I interpreted it and what the purpose I think is behind meditating. And then I also found a very simple way to do it that allows you to do it whether you literally do it for 60 seconds a day or 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Like it's going to help. So basically, first off, why meditate? Like what even is the point? Well, the point is that especially nowadays, like we've got so many distractions around us and our attention span has gone down dramatically. With social media and everything constantly like doom scrolling and everything, like our attention span is absolutely ridiculous. Like I saw a while ago that our attention span is worse than like a goldfish, which I have no idea how they could possibly even calculate that. But I mean, if it's true, then that's crazy. But regardless, like our attention span is terrible and our level of focus is terrible and our ability to focus on one thing at a time for an extended period of time is terrible. And for me with business, that obviously is a big struggle because I have to sit and I have to focus on things for a long time and do a lot of deep work. But with racing, especially, like focus is key. Like I talk about getting in the zone all the time in my videos, and being in the zone is like that highest level of focus, like where there's no distractions, no thoughts, nothing. And you're just purely in the zone, just you, the bike, and the track. That's it. And to get in the zone and to get into that level of focus is one thing, but to hold it and to be able to stay focused for the whole moto, especially if you're at like Loretta Lynn's and it's a 20 to 25 minute race, staying focused that whole time, or at the pro level when it's a 30-minute race, being able to stay in that level of focus throughout the entire race, like that's a whole different story. Like that's challenging. And it's even tougher nowadays because of all this shit going on around us that has brought our attention span down and has made it so much more difficult for us to focus. Now, the way to fix that, or at least one way to fix that, is meditating. Because basically, in basic terms and how I interpret meditating and the purpose of it and benefit of it is that meditating is really kind of training your brain to be able to focus on one thing for an extended period of time. And not only that, but basically be able to refocus whenever you start to lose focus. So most likely, if you're watching this, you're older than the age of 4, and you've probably read a book before, or you've at least read a little bit. Now you can probably relate to when like you're reading a book and you've gone through multiple pages, and then all of a sudden you realize that you don't remember a single thing that you just read. Like for the last like 10 minutes, you have no idea what you just read. That is because your mind went from focusing on the book and what you're reading to it started wandering, and it started going off to different places and thinking about that girl you saw this morning at the gym, or that what you're going to eat for lunch or what you're going to eat for dinner or how you're going to handle this or whatever. Like your mind started to wander. It wasn't able to focus on the task at hand, which is that book. And the same thing applies to racing. Like when you're in the race and you're super focused and then all of a sudden you lose focus for a split second and start thinking about something completely separate from the race, and hopefully you can regain that focus quickly. But there's been many times, even for me, where that's happened and it was a split second loss of focus and I went down. And there was a few times where I ate shit and it hurt. And then there was a couple times where, like, there was one time at a regional for Loretta Lynn's. It was my very last moto of the weekend. I was in qualifying position and it was last lap. And all I had to do was finish the damn lap and I would have gotten my ticket. And I literally, for a split second, lost focus and fell over in a corner, just a little tip over, and threw it away. And man, like that still stings. Like it sucks. It really sucked. But that really comes down to losing focus. Now, that's what meditating helps with, is that it helps you stay focused on one thing for a long period of time, but it also trains your brain to be able to catch itself whenever it starts to kind of go off the rails and start to wander a bit. It trains your brain to refocus back on the main thing that you're doing. So that when I learned that, I was like, this is something that I want to start doing. I want to start meditating, because being able to do that and being able to channel and control that focus, I mean, that's huge for anything, but especially racing. Like that is huge. So if you're a racer, pay attention, because this is how to actually meditate, and it's way simpler than you might think it is. Because most likely, maybe you have tried meditating before. Like maybe you've tried many of the apps that are out there. For me, it was always Headspace. Like I always use the app Headspace, and I'd listen to one of the like guided, meditations and stuff. And I just, like, while I did that, I just never, like, I felt it and everything. Like I could feel my body relaxing and all those sorts of things, but I had never really understood, like, what is this doing? Like what is this even doing for me? But then I learned this, and I think this is a way better, simpler, easier way to meditate. I think you're going to see the benefits of it. And I also think it just makes it way easier to stay consistent with meditating. Because I wouldn't say meditating is the most fun thing in the world to do. Like it's kind of boring, but this makes it very easy to just like do it real quick. Like just set a timer for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever. So basically all you got to do is what I do is I sit down, I close my eyes, and I set a timer for however long I want to meditate for. And usually I do like 10 minutes, but you can even start with 60 seconds. Like just start small and just try it. And then you can build up to do more and more. But I'll do like 10 minutes at a time. Now, what I do is I just close my eyes, and for those 10 minutes, I just pick one thing at the beginning, just one thing that I'm going to focus on. It could be a sound, it could be a feeling, it could be basically just anything. It just needs to be one single thing. And for me, what I always focus on is I focus on the breathing in and out of my nose. Like I focus on the feeling of the air going in and out of my nose and my nostrils kind of opening up and closing. Like that just is something that I'll focus on. Or you can focus on kind of your stomach going, like the air coming in and out, or like your chest, kind of how it like rises when you breathe in and then it goes down when you breathe out. Like just something like that. Just pick one thing to focus on. All you have to do for those 10 minutes is focus on that one thing. That's it. Like for the whole 10 minutes, all I do is I sit there with my eyes closed and I just focus on the breathing in and out through my nose. Or there's been times where I'd focus on kind of like the air going in to my lungs and everything, and then kind of like the feeling of my stomach, going like in and out or whatever. Like I just focus on that, and kind of the feeling of like my chest and everything, and I just focus on that. But the overall thing is you just need to pick one thing and focus on it for that 10 minutes. Now here's the key. This is the key point. You are going to lose focus. Your mind is going to wander. You're going to you might be able to focus on that one thing for 5 seconds, and then all of a sudden your mind starts to wander and go off into Pluto and start thinking about a bunch of random shit. That's supposed to happen. That's fine. Like it's good that that's happening, because that's normal. Like that's gonna happen. Okay. The trick here is when you catch yourself thinking about something other than that one thing, you then refocus onto that one thing, and then you just focus on that one thing and keep going. And then most likely your mind's going to wander again. And then when you catch it, you bring it back and regain that focus on that one thing. And the process of doing that, this is the point of meditating, is the process of you catching yourself and bringing your mind back to that focus. That is what trains your mind to be able to stay focused on one single thing for an extended period of time. But not only that, be able to regain focus whenever it starts to wander off and think about other things. Your mind will catch itself and bring it back to what it's supposed to be focusing on in that particular moment, whether it be the race, whatever you're working on, whatever. That is the point of meditating. And that is how I meditate now. And I learned this from somebody else who's like a major expert with this type of stuff. And ever since I started doing this, like, I just like it a lot better, and it's just way easier to do and everything. And over time, like, also understand, like, it's going to take a decent period of time before you really start to see the results of this. Like, you're not going to meditate once and then go hop on your bike and be like, all right, I'm gonna focus. Like, it's not gonna work like that. Like, you're not really gonna notice a significant. It's kind of like going to the gym. Like, when you first go to the gym, like the first couple of days, you don't see anything. The first couple of weeks, you don't see anything. The first month in, after going consistently and eating right, you start to see like a little bit of muscle, or just like a little bit of definition coming in, but still barely anything. But you just started to see a little progress. And then like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months down the road after staying consistent, that's when you really have like the killer body and you're like, whoa. And you have that moment where you like look in the mirror and you're like, whoa, like, I look good. Like, damn. So just keep that in mind. It's the same exact thing with meditating. It's going to take time and consistency to really be able to train your mind and see the results of it and everything, but it's worth it. So anyway, let me know if you got any questions about that in the comments below, and feel free to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Also, if you're a racer, definitely check out my free community linked in the description below. And with that being said, I will see you in the next video. Peace.